Brigadier Retired David Granger, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Moses Nagamutu, Honorable Kathleen Hughes, Minister of Public Telecommunications, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Ms. Bernadette Lewis, Secretary General of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, Dr. Listra Fletcher Paul, Senior Regional Coordinator, Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, Mr. Sylvester Cadet, Program Officer, International Telecommunications Union, Honorable Ministers and Senior Officials of the Government of Guyana, representatives of regional intergovernmental organizations. I see colleagues from ISOC, I see colleagues from LACNIC. Thank you for being here this morning. Corporate sponsors, stakeholders, members of the media, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ministry of Public Telecommunications and the Government of Guyana, let me welcome you to the 24th edition of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union ICT Roadshow and E-Agriculture Forum. My name is Lance Hines, Ministerial Advisor on ICT and Chair of the proceedings this morning. In the lead up to this week, I was asked on a few occasions why we have not had a roadshow in Guyana before. My simple answer to that question is that the Caribbean Telecommunications Union is following an old practice of simply saving the best for last. It is true that the roadshow should have happened before, but timing, of course, is everything. And in the view of our current initiatives in the harnessing of ICT for development, we truly believe that this is the best time to do it. This event, of course, is an extension of the ministry's strategy to ensure that awareness, education, and understanding of the benefits of ICT is shared throughout the society, regardless of location, social standing, or any other criteria for that matter. It is this sharing that ensures appreciation and ultimately wide acceptance. This week promises to be one of knowledge sharing, demonstration, and a wide range of workshops and discussions. Let me take this opportunity to invite all members of the public to attend. I rather suspect that this is going to be one of the few occasions where you will get the benefit of all this expertise for free. The other speakers will provide a far more wider perspective on this, so let me move to my specific task this morning. I'll first like to ask the premium sponsor, as represented by the regional CEO, Mr. Gregory Dean, to give us a few remarks. Mr. Dean.
Thank you, Master Lance. Good morning, all. His Excellency, President of Guyana, Brigadier Retired David Granger, Honorable Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, Honorable Minister of Public Telecommunications, Mrs. Kathy Hughes, other Honorable Ministers of Government, Bernadette Lewis, the Secretary General of the CTU, Mrs. Listra Fletcher Paul, Sub-Regional Coordinator of the FAO, Mr. Sylvester Cadet, Program Officer of the ITU, special invitees, media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Firstly, I'd like to commend the CTU on this initiative, which is designed to promote innovation in the adoption of ICT as an engine for all aspects of Caribbean development. We at Digicel are very pleased to have been afforded the opportunity to partner with the CTU for the 2018 Caribbean ICT Roadshows, and I'm especially happy that this particular roadshow is happening in Guyana. It is my belief that we truly can move Guyana and indeed all countries of the Caribbean forward and to the forefront of the knowledge economy. This will, of course, require, amongst other things, developing a common roadmap and working to make it a reality, building awareness among the public sector, private sector, and citizens about the benefits of the effective and innovative use of ICT, encouraging collaboration and entrepreneurship across the region. More specifically, the CTU's focus on raising awareness and educating on the principles of 21st century government is timely and much needed. For a moment, let us imagine a government that operates on outcomes Imagine a government that consistently delivers exponential change as opposed to incremental improvements. Imagine a better, radical, different future for people in the region. Well, the simple truth is that we can map a pathway to build this 21st century government. While a systemic transformation will not happen overnight, the boundless opportunities for innovation and change are everywhere. From embracing the possibilities of big data to deploying new citizen engagement technologies, there are infinite opportunities for government to innovate in critical sectors such as health, early education, job training, infrastructure, and criminal justice reform. If properly leveraged, these innovations would lead to better outcomes, better health, better education, better infrastructure, and a better future. And isn't that ultimately what we all want for ourselves and for each other? Across our 31 markets in the Caribbean, Central America, and Asia Pacific, from Panama to Papua New Guinea, from Trinidad and Tobago to Tonga, Digicel is working in partnership with governments to make the world and the 21st century government we imagine a reality. The level of innovation and transformation is gathering pace, and really there are no boundaries to what can be achieved. But when we talk about boundaries, the reality is that we absolutely need to say goodbye to the telephone monopoly and the limitation it places on development of the ICT sector and the country. We have a lot of catching up to do with less time than we imagined to do it. Only a fully competitive sector with a level playing field for all will allow all stakeholders to access the latest technologies at competitive prices with the benefit of choice to obtain the service quality desired. Over the course of this event, we will be showcasing some of the transformational projects and products we are working in partnership with governments to deliver to the people of the region. Today here in Guyana, Digicel supports all of our traditional industries such as agriculture and mining, but we recognize there is a great and urgent need for partnerships as Guyanese position themselves to ensure that they reap the rewards from the oil and gas industry. By taking you through the examples of 21st century government in action, we hope to start imagining with you the kinds of projects that can be rolled out here in Guyana, projects that ensure people in the remotest regions of the country have access to the same tools and innovations as those in the major towns and cities, so that together we can create a society where no one gets left behind. That is the beauty of 21st century government. It can be for everyone and to the benefit of everyone. Let's work together to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. I'd now like to invite one of our partners, the International Telecommunications Union. Here to represent them this morning is Mr. Sylvester Cadet.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. His Excellency President David Arthur Granger, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Honorable Catherine Hughes, Minister of Public Telecommunications, Honorable Ministers of the Cabinet of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Ms. Bernadette Luis, Secretary General of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, Dr. Listra Fletcher-Paul, Sub-Regional Coordinator for Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senior government officials of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Mr. Gregory Dean, Chief Executive Officer of Digicel, other industry sponsors and partners, distinguished delegates and members of the Caribbean Telecommunications Secretariat, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I consider it a joy more than just a privilege standing here representing the ITU in this particular endeavor, which brings together what I refer to as the creative and cohesive combination of key players in the ICT sector, but not just the ICT sector, but also traditional sectors like the agricultural sector. Indeed, it is this kind of cohesiveness that can bring about the requisite change that we so desire and pursue. One of the key things that I've realized as we move together in this endeavor to ensure that we bring to the general public in this week, during the course of this week, the whole idea of ICTs as it permeates through every single aspect of human endeavor, is the need to have this collaborative approach. And this is one of the reasons why you would see through the workings of the CTU that we have so many parallel sessions dealing with every single aspect of human endeavor, from e-government to governance, e-agriculture, and ICTs, and of course other areas including, of course, ICTs for inclusiveness, persons with disabilities. We want to ensure that every single aspect is embraced. And this is the essence of the activities during the course of this week. There are a number of key stakeholders that have come together and will be participating in this endeavor. We look forward to having, at the end of this exercise, a clear vision as to where we want to get to in terms of ICTs and its usage in the various aspects of the different sectors. We want to also ensure that at the end of the exercise it would create a new awareness and a new kind of awakening, not just in Guyana, but also for the other countries that have come here to participate in this particular endeavor. Having said this, let us look forward to a very interesting week of activities where we can bring to bear the different ideas, different perspectives on the different topics that will be discussed, and at the end of it all, that we would see the kind of changes that we require. From the ITU, let me bring greetings from the area representative of the ITU in Barbados, Mr. Cleveland Thomas, and of course, on behalf also of my colleague here, Hani Eskandar from Geneva. We look forward to a very interesting time here with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvester. The next item on the agenda is a cultural presentation that will be done by the National School of Dance. Well, that certainly sets the tone for the week. Can I ask for another round of applause for Lashes Go to Dance? All right, as part of my terms of reference, I have to do some housekeeping. First of all, I've been remiss. If you, using your phone, once you access the ACCC wireless connection, it will take you straight to the ministry's website, and you can see the program from there. This is part of our move to become more and more paperless and save the trees. So I was told. Again, further housekeeping. All sessions will commence promptly at 11. The e-agricultural workshop will be in this auditorium, so that will continue after this opening ceremony. The sessions on 21st century government will be in rooms 1, 2, and 3. ICT for people with disabilities, as it pertains to the blind, will be in the secretariat room, that is just outside the dome, and you turn left. ICT with people with disabilities, with a concentration on the deaf, will be in rooms 4 and 5. Let me also take this opportunity to recognize our sponsors, premium sponsor Digicel, and other sponsors, Crimson Logic, Latin American and Caribbean Internet Registry, commonly known as LACNIC, the American Registry of Internet Numbers, known as RN, and RSC International. I assure you that during this week, you will know exactly who those entities are and the kind of services that they provide. So, let's move on. The next item on the agenda will be made by the Sub-Regional Coordinator for the Food and Agricultural Organization, Dr. Listra Fletcher Paul.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. His Excellency, President David Arthur Granger, President of the Corporate Republic of Guyana, Honorable Catherine Hughes, Minister of Public Communications. I also want to recognize Minister Noel Holder, Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Ministers of the Cabinet of the Corporate Republic of Guyana, Ms. Bernadette Lewis, Secretary General, Caribbean Telecommunications Union, Mr. Sylvester Cadet, Program Officer of the International Telecommunications Union, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senior government officials of the Corporate Republic of Guyana, Mr. Gregory Dean, Chief Executive Officer, Digicel, industry sponsors and partners, distinguished delegates and members of the Caribbean Telecommunications Secretariat, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, I'm delighted to be back home, I have to say, my second home, Guyana, having lived here for 4.5 years, to bring brief remarks at this opening ceremony of the ICT Roadshow and e-Agriculture Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, agriculture is a key pillar for economic development and food and nutrition security, particularly among the poor and vulnerable communities. With a food import bill of over $4 billion per annum, Guyana is considered one of the bread baskets of the Caribbean, and the agricultural sector is essential and pivotal for regional food and nutrition security. But the agricultural sector doesn't only provide food and nutrition security. It also provides opportunities for rural development, income generation, foreign exchange earnings, import substitution, youth employment, thank you, and improved livelihoods for rural communities. Development of the agriculture sector is essential for the achievement of Sustainable Development Goal 2, eradicating hunger by 2030. But the agriculture sector in the Caribbean faces many challenges. And these challenges include, but are not limited to, low productivity, poor access to markets, credit, and extension services, high labor costs, the threats and risks associated with pests and diseases and climate change, and last but by no means least, predial larceny, which is considered one of the biggest constraints to agricultural production in the region. E-agriculture can provide innovative solutions to some of these challenges. Through the use of information communication technology, ICT, such as computers, smartphones, mobile devices, policymakers, farmers, processors, fisherfolk now have at their fingertips access to information on new and innovative technologies, which can help them make informed decisions to increase their production and productivity. Today, there are apps which provide information on, and a range of services such as pest and disease identification, advice on pest and disease control, land suitability, e-banking, and through satellite imagery, farmers now have access to precision agriculture, which allows the application of fertilizers at the precise rate, place, and time that is required so that the crops make more efficient use of resources. Drone technologies are also being used for surveillance of properties to prevent predial larceny, and these are just a few. Here in the Caribbean, FAO has assisted and continues to assist many countries in the use of ICT technology in agriculture to improve food and nutrition security. A few years ago, when I was the representative here in Guyana, we assisted the new Guyana Marketing Corporation to develop a market information system, which is a database of information on the various commodities produced, the volumes available, market demands, prices of the commodities on the local market, and there's also a cell phone app which allows farmers to access information on the prices of the produce at the various markets so they can decide on the best place to sell their produce. Just yesterday in the newspapers in Barbados, I noticed that the Consumer Corporation in Barbados now has an app which provides information on the prices of all commodities in all the supermarkets, and also gives you the price of the fuel that you will use, so that if you can decide whether it makes sense to drive to a supermarket near you or elsewhere in making your decisions. FAO is also assisting the government of Suriname on a project on animal traceability, which uses ICT to trace livestock from farm to market. This would allow the government to improve their food safety systems and enable livestock farmers to gain access to foreign markets because they have improved food safety standards and traceability methods. And we are about to implement a project called REACH, which is the Resilient Environment and Agricultural Caribbean Habitats Project, which is funded by the Italian corporation. And it is designed to use ICT to develop a two-way, community-driven mechanism for joint management and knowledge sharing. Through the use of cell phones, farmers will be able to receive timely agrometeorological information, as well as share information on appropriate practices and technologies for natural resources management and agricultural risk management for early warning and early action, particularly to mitigate against the impacts of climate change. These actions will help promote appropriate environmental and disaster risk reduction practices, which contribute to stable food supplies and food security for future generations, while fostering new business opportunities for young entrepreneurs. A recent study, which FAO conducted in collaboration with the Caribbean Development Bank, revealed that a lack of succession planning and an aging population involved in the agriculture sector is a major issue which has to be addressed to ensure food and nutrition security in the future of the Caribbean. And the use of ICT in agriculture provides an opportunity for engagement of youth in the sector. Ladies and gentlemen, e-agriculture opens a whole new world for the use of innovative technologies to revitalize the sector and attract young people. This forum is therefore timely, and it provides you with an opportunity to share knowledge on successful e-agriculture solutions and identify ways of scaling up implementation on national level. It also allows you to share your experience in implementing e-agriculture solutions and establish a community of practice among e-agriculture solution providers. Most importantly, it will help to build your capacity to develop national e-agriculture strategies which can be implemented when you return to your respective countries. In closing, I'd like to thank the Government of Guyana for hosting this important meeting, and I'd also like to thank our partners, the CTU and ITU, as well as the private sector partners who are on board, for the excellent cooperation and collaboration in organizing this event. And last, but by no means least, I would like to thank the participants for taking time from your busy schedules to attend this forum. I urge you to take this opportunity to participate in all the other activities associated with the ICT Roadshow, so you can learn more about the applications of ICT in other sectors. I wish you all a fruitful and successful forum and roadshow. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fletcher Paul. The minister's written all those things down that you're offering in the rest of the Caribbean. So in our first meeting, we will revisit all of those one by one to make sure. Thank you again. Now, some of us have been around the block in ICT. Many of you are in this room. We won't talk about how long, but things like the connectivity agenda, ICT for development, the regional digital strategy, all of those things quite a few of us have been part of throughout the Caribbean. The ICT CARICOM roundtable, etc., etc., etc. I only bring this up because throughout all of this, and for all my 20-something years in ICT in the Caribbean, one name has continued to be present during that time, pushing and advocating for the effective use in ICT for regional, national development and economic advancement. She still continues to do so. Looks like she will continue to do so for a long time. Let me please welcome the Secretary General of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, Ms. Bernadette Lewis.
Thank you very much, Chair. I don't think it's been that long, you know. His Excellency, President David Arthur Granger, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Honorable Catherine Hughes, Minister of Public Telecommunications of Guyana, Honorable Ministers of the Cabinet of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Dr. Listra Fletcher, Sub-Regional Coordinator of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, Mr. Sylvester Cadet, Program Officer of the International Telecommunications Union, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senior government officials of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Mr. Gregory Dean, Chief Executive Officer of Digicel, industry sponsors and players, distinguished delegates and members of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union Secretariat, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the President and members of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, I would like to express my deep appreciation to the Government of Guyana for hosting this, the first in the new series of Caribbean ICT Roadshows. And these roadshows continue the theme of the original series, Harnessing the Power of Innovation, the engine for ICT-enabled Caribbean development. And the theme reflects the fact that without innovation, you will not be able to reap the full benefits of information and communication technologies. And I just want to give you a little history of the Caribbean ICT Roadshow initiative. Originally launched in 2009 to commemorate the CTU's 20th anniversary, the Caribbean ICT Roadshow initiative is designed to raise awareness and educate on the transformative potential of information and communication technologies, or what we call ICT, and to highlight the need for innovation in order to make effective use of ICT tools and resources. So the Roadshow seeks to encourage productive, beneficial use of ICTs, to promote innovation and entrepreneurship, and to dispel the fear that people might have about technologies and spark the imagination of ordinary citizens of the power of ICT to enhance and transform all that they do, all that they're involved in. And the Roadshow is not a cookie-cutter exercise. Each Roadshow is uniquely crafted for the country it visits. The Roadshow is not an event, but it is designed to seed initiatives and programs that will grow and bear fruit in the long term after the CTU has moved on, after the Roadshow has moved on to other destinations. From its inception in 2009 and up till 2013, the Roadshow was held 23 times in 18 Caribbean territories, launching many ICT programs in the countries they visited and making significant contributions to enhancing the ICT landscape in the region. But you would recognize that since that time, the technology has continued to evolve rapidly, changing the world at a very fundamental level. And as a result of the relentless pace of technological innovation, the CTU has had no choice but to embark on a new round of roadshows, a new series that would reflect the current advances in ICT and their potential to impact all sectors. And the fact that the CTU has been invited to bring the Caribbean ICT Roadshow to Guyana at this time, I think it testifies to the government's recognition of the importance of ICT to national development and their commitment to making effective use of ICTs. I would like to commend Minister Catherine Hughes for her vision, her leadership, and demonstrated will to embracing and promoting ICTs as an enabler for national development. Minister, we at the CTU have been greatly encouraged by your passion for ICT-enabled development, and we are looking forward to seeing the fruit of your labor. And now I just want to talk a little bit about the ICT revolution. This has brought the information of the ages to our fingertips. It has erased geographic boundaries, it has compressed time, the way we do business, it has created new modes for engagement and created new types of jobs. And certainly we're seeing certain jobs are disappearing, but there is that opportunity for new types of jobs, new types of endeavor. And it has also created a virtual reality into which more and more of our lives are becoming entwined and cemented. Citizens who do not embrace the technology will find it increasingly difficult to participate in everyday activities in their countries. Businesses that do not respond appropriately to the changing times, they become irrelevant and fade into oblivion. Governments that do not respond appropriately, they don't go out of business, but instead their ability to serve their citizens effectively diminishes over time as they slowly morph into a state of gridlock. And in so doing, they deny their citizens the right to participate in national life and development. And it is for these reasons that the CTU has committed to another round of roadshows. And based on our prior deliberations with the ICT stakeholders in Guyana, this roadshow would be promoting the establishment of 21st century Caribbean governments. And these 21st century governments are governments that are fit for purpose in this era. 21st century governments are citizen-centric and seamless, and are they are faster, they are cheaper in conducting their business, they are efficient, they are effective, they are transparent, and they are relevant to the times. And I'm very pleased that during the course of the roadshow, Guyana will be showcasing some of the work that it's doing in moving towards a 21st century government. And recognizing that technology can enhance the lives of people with disabilities and foster inclusivity, there will be sessions to raise awareness and demonstrate ICT tools for the blind and for the deaf. The Roadshow's future casting session will present many cutting-edge technologies, including nanosatellite technology, which can aid in connecting the remote communities of Guyana. The Roadshow will also consider the risks associated with using ICTs in our cybersecurity sessions. And especially has been dedicated for the young people of Guyana, featuring many interactive ICT demonstrations, including robotics, virtual reality, gaming, and a long list of other very exciting, engaging demonstrations. And we are very pleased to have the Food and Agriculture Organization and the International Telecommunications Union, both United Nations institutions. They have joined the roadshow to convene the e-agriculture workshop to encourage the use of ICT in agriculture. ICTs are cross-cutting. They will touch every sector. They have the potential to transform every sector if the innovative approaches are used when leveraging the technologies. And given the brief overview of the Caribbean ICT Roadshow for Guyana, you would recognize that much work has gone into organizing this program. And I would be remiss if I did not commend Mr. Lance Hines. He's not only the advisor to the minister, but he's a Caribbean icon in the internet space as well. Yes, and we've been around for a very long time, but we're both dedicated to the cause. And of course, he's had an excellent team supporting him. And we have been working over the months to bring this roadshow to this point. And I'm just looking around at the attendance this morning. I am extremely gratified. I thank you for your work. And I sincerely hope that all of the participants would benefit from this endeavor. And to my little flock at the CTU Secretariat, I'm grateful for your faith and hard work that have brought the roadshow to Guyana for this, the 24th time in the region, and Guyana is also the 19th Caribbean country. So it's not just a case of leaving the best for last, but it's also a milestone for the first of the new series of Caribbean ICT Roadshows. And successfully leveraging the potential of information and communication technologies, it requires collaboration of many diverse stakeholders. And so I'd like to recognize our partners, our premium sponsor, Digicel, and welcome them to the CTU's 2018 Roadshow journey. To our other sponsors, Crimson Logic, the Latin American and Caribbean Internet Registry, the American Registry of Internet Numbers, we say thank you for joining the Caribbean ICT Roadshow in Guyana, and to all of the other stakeholders, and including ISOC, yes, and there are a host of others that I think I've already started bungling now, but we recognize your contribution. We could not do it without you. And in closing, I have a word of caution. While the CTU and, of course, many of us laud the benefits of ICT, I want to just put this word of caution that we also need to look at the potentially negative societal dividends, and provisions must be put in place to protect citizens' persons, their intellectual, digital, and physical possessions, and also their privacy. And due care must be exercised to ensure that in this era of hyper-connectivity, we do not become disconnected and isolated from our fellow men and Caribbean neighbors. That in this age of communications, that we do not lose our ability to communicate face to face with our children and our colleagues and our peers and our neighbors. That in this new global world enabled by ICTs, that we lose our cultural identity, our individuality, or humanity. Or even worse, that in this technological age, we lose our souls. So it is my sincere hope that all who participate in person, and I want to recognize those who are participating remotely, it is my hope that you would have a greater understanding of information and communication technologies, and that you will be encouraged to use them responsibly and productively to improve your life, your government, your nation, and your region. I wish you all an enlightening and productive week. I thank you.
Thank you, Bernadette, for those insightful words. Ladies and gentlemen, for some of us who have been around for a little while, especially at the policymaking level, for you to get traction and for you to get acceptance, you have to have a champion. You have to have someone in the highest levels who can listen and who can argue, who can advocate for the initiative. I think now we have that person. 2 years ago, I was minding my own business in my office, and I was called to make myself useful since I was talking too much over the past years. Anyhow, and again, I said someone was, as I said, we have someone who does that, someone who is passionate, someone who articulates the vision for ICT as a cross-cutting component and ICT as a standalone sector. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the Honorable Catherine Hughes, Minister of Public Telecommunications.
Thank you. His Excellency David Arthur Granger, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, His Excellency, the Honorable Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, Vice President, the Honorable Sidney Alacock, my colleague ministers of government, members of parliament, representatives of the diplomatic corps, members of the private sector, and especially persons living with disabilities who have joined us here this morning. And I really want to stop and maybe ask you to applaud the large turnout of persons with disabilities, the deaf and the blind that are with us here today. Thank you. Good morning. I am truly, truly delighted to see all of you here this beautiful morning. Let me echo the sentiments of my colleagues and extend a warm welcome on behalf of the government and people of Guyana, especially to the more than 20 presenters from the Caribbean Telecommunications Union and key regional organizations who will be sharing their knowledge and expertise with us this week. Thank you. The CTU Roadshow, for years a staple on the regional calendar, has finally come to Guyana. We thank you for coming and look forward to a very productive week. Long before President Obama launched his Yes We Can election campaign more than a decade ago, there was a lush, green, unspoiled paradise strategically positioned in South America, blessed with abundant lands and just the right amount of people who, for 2 generations, sang with pride one of their national songs. This one spoke about cooperation with a line that goes like this, and don't worry, I'm not going to sing it. Can we do it? Yes, we can. This is Guyana, our Guyana, teeming with unrealized potential in every possible way and place you can imagine. But the hard question is, can we slowly begin to move from our traditional ways of doing things, out of the box, so to speak, so that we can finally begin to transform Guyana? I say again, yes, we can. And only with an increased use of information communication technologies, ICTs, is this possible. Ladies and gentlemen, this week, through an exciting array of quality presentations in e-agriculture, new financial payment systems, ICT for persons with disabilities, the development and use of new apps that will make our lives easier, glimpses of technological trends of the future, and all Friday, a day dedicated to our young Guyanese who are the drivers of this new revolution, I'm saying to you, you have an awesome opportunity to be infused and educated. And if you think we're just looking, as usual, at just Georgetown, not this time. Wednesday, we take the roadshow to Anai and the Rupununi, and on Saturday to the Berbice region. I'm certain that I am preaching to the converted and informed when I tell you that countries that have harnessed fully the potential of information and communication technologies have attained significant social and economic development. In addition, they are rapidly transforming into information and knowledge-based economies. Globally, ICT-led growth is creating jobs, raising productivity, increasing incomes, and opening many opportunities for increased trade and human development. Extensive application of information technology now provides opportunities for new ways to create wealth, thus creating and contributing significantly to poverty alleviation. We continuously read and see how this sector has become the engine for growth. In the Caribbean region, the past 2 decades has been a period during which we've seen the introduction and rapid spread in the use of mobile phones, personal computers, tablets, the internet, dramatic expansion in the number and range of telecommunications and broadcast media providers, and the growth of applications of ICT in businesses, schools, and even at home. And all of this allows for increased entrepreneurial activities amongst our citizens. The government of Guyana, on the wise advice of President Granger, has taken the philosophical and fundamental decision that Guyana must be part of this digital revolution. The government therefore recognizes the role ICTs in the social and economic development of this nation can play, and through the Ministry of Public Telecommunications is developing the policy framework for the full utilization of ICTs for our national development. This framework at the macroeconomic level seeks to facilitate sustained economic growth and poverty reduction, promote social justice, transparency, and equality, mainstream gender in national development, empower the youths and disadvantaged groups, stimulate investment and innovation in ICT, and create universal access. These, of course, are lofty goals, which we are determined to uphold and deliver. We recognize, however, that like every other policy initiative of this nature, there are going to be challenges. We have to continue to improve our ICT infrastructure. We also need to continue to review and modernize our current legislation and policy frameworks. And we have to evolve our education methods and delivery for the 21st century environment. This environment uses technology to provide more government services to our citizens, online learning and telemedicine, so we reach our remote hinterland communities. Smart classrooms and smart hospitals are already being constructed in Guyana today. And soon the use of technology to create a safer city is going to be implemented. We are creating a digital Guyana. We know we have to look critically at our human resource development strategies, and so a commitment to training will take us all there. My experience, however, as a media professional for over 25 years, has taught us all that much of what I've just spoken about will simply not work without stakeholder buy-in and acceptance. By that I mean buy-in by the public sector, the private sector, civil society, and academia, and last but not least, our average citizens in their respective communities. This is exactly why we're here this morning, and will be here for the rest of the week. It is to spread the gospel and to facilitate education, awareness, knowledge sharing, and discussion. We will show how ICT can be used to improve efficiency in government, in business, in agriculture, in education. We will show inclusion, most especially for those who are differently abled. We will highlight our local content and the wonderful work that they're doing in the tech field. And most importantly, the opportunities and what our future can look like using ICTs. And what do I want to see reflected in this new Guyana? I hope to see a private sector that begins to embrace more the use of technological systems. A public and private sector that thinks outside the box and strategically allocates a few of your jobs for persons that are visually or hearing impaired. That looks to hire our young Guyanese ICT entrepreneurs who are immensely talented and qualified, but who often lose out to some businesses from abroad, although they can deliver the same product at the same competitive price. All of this must be the measure of our worth, of your worth, and success as a company or agency. So, in closing, I am looking forward to a most enlightening and highly educational week. With all that said, I hope that I've encouraged you, that I've enticed you to be part of this exciting journey. For only with the increased use of ICTs will we truly educate, innovate, and transform Guyana. Can we do it? Absolutely. Yes, we can. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you, Minister, for the charge, and I am certain that the remarks are endorsed 100% by the gathering. We have another cultural interlude. We have a poem by Miss Orletta Rollins. Good.
All protocol observed, I present to you Beyond the Digital Divide by yours truly. Regional integration is our perfect plea. For more than 2 centuries, our nations has joined with just one request: to unite forces against many conquests. Information, communication, and technology is one of the pillars that the Caribbean Telecommunications Union sought to use in order to keep us all technologically amused. In a world without information, communication, and technology, Can you imagine how it would be to not have any lights? We would stay home at nights. In a world without technology, we'll lose all forms of connectivity. We'll not have Wi-Fi or 3G. Distance would be only what it should be. The CTU objectives are true, reaching out to me and you, encouraging regional collaboration, harnessing the power of innovation, technologies, connectivity, advancing human activities. This is to promote thinking, provoke thinking, that ICT is worth having. Now let's get real. It's more than the computer screen or the connect cables, more than the cellular phone that we sit all day on and roam. Communication takes practice. It's never perfect, sometimes not patient, sometimes not kind. But what you have to say, what's on your mind. With ICT, remember to lend an ear. Listen, not just hear. When you receive your instant calls and post on your Facebook walls, read between the lines, connect and unite. To the ones you love so dear, through ICT we all must care. How beautiful it is if we all can unite, reaching out through ICT, ease tension and much plight. Persons with disabilities, residents in Yakasari, we did not forget you and I. We'll realize and stand firm and inspire you, and you will see that our word is true. Now hear this. Computer hardware, software, office suite. You will learn all these in and out and between. But you must stick to the task. And in the end, it's the key to great relationships that we all want and need. But with technology, ICT, is our life really that easy? Is the world, is the Caribbean really as it should be? Are people living in harmony? Honorable Minister Catherine Hughes, your initiative, we're quite amused. With the work of the Ministry of Telecommunications, they took on the quest and did what was best. With no further delay, we stand proud today as a global village to say out loud, information, communication, and technology, a wonderful opportunity for you and me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rollins. One of the things that we've always argued is that the beauty of ICT is it has a very long tail and many entry points. We've gotten to the stage where we have ICT poems. This is a wonderful start at the beginning. From there. Again, I'm going back a few years. I remember when a certain publisher called me and said that, Lance, I would like you to write articles for my magazine pertaining to ICT. What he didn't know was that was the start of me doing that up to now. I know there is something about seafarism and seafarmen and so on. I could only assume that that initiative meant that he saw since then that ICT had tremendous possibilities for Guyana and the region and the world as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to invite the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, His Excellency David Granger, to give us a feature address. Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. I always wondered why my magazine crashed. Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Moses Nagamutu, Honorable Vice President Sidney Allicock, Honorable Catherine Hughes, Minister of Public Telecommunications, Honorable Ministers of the Government and members of the National Assembly, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Ms. Bernadette Lewis, Secretary General of the CTU, members of the CTU team, members of the private sector, distinguished guests, boys and girls with challenges, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take back that remark. He really helped to sell the magazine. And people got to know about him too. The digital revolution has transformed the way in which citizens communicate with the state and with each other. The revolution is worldwide in scale. It's comprehensive in capability, and its growth has been phenomenal. The digital state is one in which information communication technology is the principal basis for communication, promoting political participation, fostering social integration, and encouraging economic transformation. The digital state is one that will connect everyone, everywhere in the Caribbean, all the time. It will promote innovation. It will catalyze new business opportunities and augment the delivery of public services. The smartphone is now ubiquitous. Tablets are being used for education and entertainment. The transmission of information has increased exponentially. The internet is connecting people, businesses, and societies across the globe. My words here today, I'm sure, are being transmitted instantaneously within and without the country, sometimes to my embarrassment. The digital state aims at establishing a network of connectivity, linking every person, community, and every government agency. It will ensure that residents of the Bahamas, for example, will not be isolated from residents of Barbados or Belize. The digital state will trigger economic transformation. It will spawn knowledge-based industries while diversifying the economy away from primary production, moving manufacturing up the value chain, and building greater economic resilience. It's about applying ICT to add value to primary production and to ensure greater access to external and internal markets. ICT effectively deployed can promote improved productivity and competitiveness. It is a manifestation of technological progress, fostering innovation and, consequently, economic growth. It is part of the globalization process, which brings people and markets closer together by unlocking new markets for goods and services. ICT is affecting our economic, social, and private lives profoundly. It is increasing the volume and the speed of market transactions. The digital state will deliver quality public services everywhere. It will reduce the need for citizens to travel outside their regions in years to come, to acquire passports, to access legal services, to examine their academic and medical records, to record births and deaths, to receive Social Security benefits, to register businesses, to renew their driver's licenses, to file income tax returns, those who do, and embark on trade and investment enterprises. The digital state will revolutionize the delivery of education, including distance education, by introducing technology-based teaching in the public education system, thereby improving educational attainment. The educational value of the digital state can be encapsulated in the legend: log on, look, listen, and learn. The ICT sector requires brain power. The public education system is being reconfigured to place greater emphasis on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education, so as to develop the human resources needed for a competitive ICT sector. Teachers are a critical element in the public education system. Guyana's One Laptop Per Teacher program, supported by the People's Republic of China, is intended to promote teachers' competence in information technology. Computers are no longer a luxury, they are a necessity. They are no longer an optional, they are an obligatory tool in modern education. ICT has been recognized as an important instrument of national development. The government of Guyana created, under its youngest minister, the Minister of Public Telecommunications, with the mandate to develop the enabling environment that will facilitate the optimum utilization of ICT for national growth and development. This ministry has become the engine for the implementation of a national ICT policy that is built on 5 principal pillars. First, infrastructure. It closes the digital divide by developing a national ICT architecture which provides universal access to ICT services. This process started with the establishment of over 100 internet hubs in the coastland and hinterland regions. These hubs will be utilized by students and residents who still may not have their own computers. In due course, every courthouse, every hospital, every police station, every post office, every school, every government building will enjoy internet access. Not yet. We have connected over 175 primary schools and 105 secondary schools and tertiary institutions to support remote access learning and online research to help with academic assignments and homework. We've expanded coverage of the government network to better support the day-to-day functioning of state agencies, departments, and ministries. Integration is the second pillar of Guyana's ICT policy. ICT can be a socially integrative force with the potential to knit communities into cohesive units. ICT, by linking peoples and their neighborhoods, helps to overcome barriers of distance and fosters a sense of belonging. Ladies and gentlemen, communications in the Caribbean community, with a total land area of 462,000 square kilometers, poses geographical challenges. The Caribbean states, taken together, are larger than Sweden. And if it were a single country, the Caribbean would be the 56th largest in the world. Caribbean states, however, are not a single landmass. They straddle 2.8 million square kilometers of sea space, which separates Nassau in the north from Paramaribo in the south. It is only through information and communications technology that the disadvantages of this distance could be reduced. It is for that reason that the roadmap for a single ICT space was drafted and approved at the 28th intersessional meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, held here in Georgetown in February last year. This roadshow must advance that roadmap. Guyana, suffering from inequality along the lines of geography and infrastructural development, has peculiar challenges for ICT development. Many hinterland communities are isolated owing to lack of adequate infrastructure. Residents of these communities have to travel long distances to access public services. In a few weeks' time, I'll be going up the Mazaruni, where every August month, Residents sometimes walk 3 days to get to the sports venue. Walk. Ladies and gentlemen, Guyana is the largest state in the Caribbean community, but it has the second lowest population density of about 4 persons compared to 569 persons per square kilometer in Barbados. Scores of sparsely populated settlements of relatively few residents are scattered over vast distances, which are likely to be cleft by rivers, forests, grasslands, or wetlands, and in the case of the Essequibo Islands. ICT development, therefore, must be responsive to the spatial dimension of geographical development. Every village must have a center where public services, such as citizenship, public education, public health, public security, and postal services can be accessed. ICT must bring these services to the people in the islands, in the hinterland, in riverine and rural communities. The adoption of information and communications technology, therefore, is a necessity for development for the government. It is the infrastructure upon which the superstructure of the digital state will be erected. The provision of information services is a third pillar of ICT policy. Guyana's size and low population density, coupled with its vast hinterland, result in many communities becoming silent zones, zones without telephones, without televisions, without radios, without newspapers, and frequently with only irregular supply of snail mail. These communities could become isolated in terms of communication and from the rest of the country, and sometimes from their own capital towns. The establishment, therefore, of the Regional Public Broadcasting Service is a component of the architecture of regional public communication systems, which link every community to its capital town and to the rest of the country, and is intended to promote intercommunication. Regional public broadcasting stations will ensure complete intercommunication to overcome the challenges of lack of connectivity in these silent zones. Innovation is the next pillar of ICT policy. Innovation is essential to improving efficiency in the delivery of public services. The government program aims at ensuring systems which would allow for greater access, accuracy, and timeliness in the delivery of public services across the 10 regions of Guyana, from the Berbice in the north to the Rupununi in the south. Innovation, by improving the way things are made, can boost output, reduce unit costs to businesses, and add value to make their products more competitive. Government is committed to ensuring an enabling environment for innovative information technology by providing incentives for innovation and by removing barriers to fair competition through liberalization. Government has begun to institute a regulatory framework for the telecommunications sector, an important segment of the ICT sector. The Telecommunications Bill will be the basis for conducting negotiations in order to further liberalize and to attract increased investment in the sector. We are modernizing our intellectual property legislation also by developing electronic transactions and data protection legislation. The last pillar of ICT policy is the encouragement of knowledge-based industries. ICT can become the basis for the birth of businesses which generate employment, which stimulate enterprise and engender growth. The relatively high rate of literacy and proficiency in English in the Caribbean states offer advantages in the outsourcing of industry. ICT can also boost small and medium-sized enterprise development while diversifying the economy increasingly into services. ICT plays a central role in this country. Guyana's Green State Development Strategy. It does so by reducing the carbon footprint. ICT must drive the establishment of paperless agencies, departments, and ministries. It must promote greater use of non-cash financial instruments. E-government must make public services more accessible. E-business must facilitate commerce, investment, and trade. ICT is a functional and practical response to the challenge of digital deficit in Caribbean states. It will promote greater inclusion and innovation and provide information services and digital industries consistent with the Green State Development Strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, this Caribbean ICT Roadshow is far from being a sideshow. It sets the region more firmly on the digital highway to lead our states and our peoples towards increased connectivity. This event can generate awareness of the many opportunities which ICT can provide for our region and stimulate interest in ICT development as we all move towards becoming digital states. Allow me to congratulate the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, and particularly our own Ministry of Public Telecommunications for their collaboration in hosting this roadshow. I wish you every success. Thank you.
Let me thank His Excellency for laying the context under which the expectations of the role of ICT, in particular in Guyana and also in the region. Minor housekeeping again. Just a reminder, the sessions will begin promptly at 11. The agricultural workshop will be in this auditorium. The 21st Century Government Workshop will be in rooms 1, 2, and 3. ICT for people with disabilities, as it pertains to the blind, will be in the Secretariat room. The workshop for ICT for people with disabilities, as it pertains to the deaf, is in rooms 4 and 5. Before we close, one of the things that happens is that we come into these rooms and we sit and everything just seems to work. Cameras, screens, remote access, and those things don't happen by themselves. There are people who work. There are people who work hard, work tirelessly to make sure that these things happen. I'm going to ask Ms. Donella Collison to come to the podium and express her appreciation for those who made this possible in terms of the opening ceremony and those who are going to make the entire week a success. Ms. Collison.
Good morning, everyone. It's been my privilege to have been given the opportunity to extend the vote of thanks for this relaunch of the CTU ICT Roadshow, and its first time here in Guyana. His Excellency, Honorable President David Granger, Honorable Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, Honorable Minister of Public Telecommunications, Catherine Hughes, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Noel Holder, and other government ministers and high-level officials. Your presence here this morning signifies our government's collective commitment to the development of the ICT sector for Guyana's advancement. I know that we are all looking forward to seeing the implementation into policy of the strategies and solutions that we will learn during this week. CTU Secretary General Bernadette Lewis, FAO Sub-Regional Coordinator Dr. Listra Fletcher-Paul, ITU Rep Mr. Sylvester Cadet, and our various colleagues at CTU. Thank you for the hard work that you guys have put into the past few months to bring this roadshow here to Guyana. All right, this week is the culmination of an intense collaborative effort between your organization and MOPT. We thank you for the excellent work that you do. We also extend our gratitude to our corporate sponsor in Digicel. This week would literally not be possible without your support. I offer my preemptive thanks to all of our speakers, presenters, other participants, and partners in the public and private sector. We are all looking forward to this opportunity to learn from you, not only learn from you, but for you to learn from us, your audience. Thank you to the National School of Dance and Miss Orletta Rollins for your lovely performances, which further demonstrates how ICT has relevance in all of our sectors, even dance and poetry. Last but certainly not least, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of the special invited guests and members of the audience. In fact, you are the star of this show. This roadshow is for you, and without your attendance and rapt attention, this would be a waste of all of our time. I would especially like to thank our colleagues who are living with disabilities. You guys have made a tremendous effort into being here, and I hope that this week will present a number of opportunities that will lead to improvements in all of your lives. I am confident that this roadshow will have a positive impact in Guyana, and welcome, and we are ready to begin with our first sessions starting at 11 o'clock. Thank you to all, and have a good day.
Thank you, Donella. You'll note she made no mention of the inspirational leadership of our boss, but we'll address those matters in a different forum. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the formal presentation today. We move on to the shows, the sessions from 11 o'clock and throughout the week. Let me thank you as well for coming, and this formal presentation is at an end. Thank you so much.